good indication that we brought the right group of people together. So I'm delighted with that. So hopefully everybody's here for the 8th Annual Wisconsin Sustainable Business Council Conference. We have been all over the state in the last 7 years. This is the first time that we've been in the Fox Valley since the 2nd year of the conference when we were up at Myron Construction. So we're delighted to be back, and hopefully the Fox Valley will be an area that we spend more time in as the future unfolds. I can tell just by looking at the room, there continues to be a lot of interest in this idea of business sustainability or the role of businesses in promoting a movement towards a more sustainable direction. So you're all, sort of living evidence that we're doing the right thing. Interest continues to increase, and I think there's room for optimism about the future. As I said, we've done 7 conferences before this. I'm going to ask everybody who let's do it this way. Who has never been to one of our conferences before? Raise your hand. Okay. All right. Put your hands down. Now, everybody that's been to at least one conference, raise your hand. Okay. Now, keep your hands up if you've been to 2 conferences, and 3 conferences, and 4 conferences, and 5 conferences, and 6 conferences. David still got his hand up. Who else? And Steve. And who's been to all 7 conferences? No one. I have. I've been here. So we try and do the conference as sustainably as possible in addition to talk about sustainability. So some of the things that you're seeing around you, when you checked in, you got a water bottle. All of those water bottles have been washed. They are ready to fill at the water station back there. You'll notice that there's no bottled water. That's quite conscious. For all of you that drink coffee, you have a mug with the Wisconsin Sustainable Business Council logo on it. Those are your mugs. You can take those with you at the end of the day. Those were made by a company in Appleton that makes mugs for events. So we've never done this before, but we thought, before we put the mugs out, they had disposable coffee cups that they were setting out by the coffee. And we're going to save 300 disposable coffee cups, or however many you drink coffee. So the mugs are yours, and hopefully it'll remind you of the conference. Every year we provide a book to all of the attendees. The book this year is Climate Shock, which is in keeping with the fact that COP21 climate discussions are going on yet today, going on through tomorrow, raising sort of the business issues around climate change. Why would business be interested, separate and apart from all this stuff about saving the world, saving the earth, saving future generations, regardless of that stuff. That's all nice add-on stuff. What are the real business reasons that businesses are tracking on what's happening in carbon and what's happening in the future of approaches, whether those are regulatory approaches or cap and trade approaches or voluntary approaches or whatever it might be. The food, for those of you that have been to the conference before, you will remember that lunch is always vegetarian. And the reason that we do that is not to discriminate against all meat eaters, but that there are a number of recommendations that involve lowering your carbon footprint by having a meatless meal. So this is your meatless meal for the day. You can go eat whatever you like tonight and feel no guilt about it. So obviously there's a lot less water, a lot less energy, a lot less other resources that are involved in producing a vegetarian meal than a meat meal. We did provide buses from Milwaukee and Madison for people coming up from either of those communities. Again, trying to lower the carbon footprint for transportation. We had offered to provide a bus from Green Bay, and there simply weren't enough people that were interested in taking the bus, so that one didn't happen. But buses from Milwaukee and Madison resulted in a substantial decrease in the number of people that drove themselves. Every year we do purchase carbon offsets for the conference. We're working with a group called the Compass Group this year that will do a carbon footprint for the conference, and then we'll purchase carbon offsets to make the conference carbon neutral. And finally, you didn't get a lot of paper when you checked in. That was quite deliberate. All of the information that you need on the speakers is up online. We'll briefly introduce each of the speakers, whether those are plenary speakers or speakers in breakout sessions. You did get a half sheet that has the agenda for the day, and I and others will talk you through the options when we get to times that there are options. But the fact that you're not getting a lot of paper actually was quite deliberate. We tried to put everything online, and it's available digitally. The other thing that's really unique about this conference is that it's entirely planned by students. So I teach at the University of Wisconsin in Madison. I teach classes in the sustainability area. And my fall semester class is a project-based class. So the first day of class, students are given the option of 15 or 20 different projects that they could work on over the course of the semester. And I warn them that if you say you want to work on the conference, you're going to do a lot more work than anybody else, and it doesn't dissuade them. And they still volunteer. So we'll introduce the students that were the coordinators for the conference later in the day. You've probably met some of them during registration or walking around. The student coordinators are in kind of a gray pullover. And so if you see one of them, thank them. The agenda for the day will start with a welcome from the Chancellor. We'll hear from the Vice Chancellor of the university on how they have become the third most sustainable campus in the country, not in the state, in the country, according to the Sierra Club, which is why we are here this year. And we'll follow that with a break, and then there will be breakout sessions. You'll need to choose one of 5 breakout sessions. I'll run through your options there after Tom speaks later. We'll have lunch in this room. We will recognize then the Green Masters companies for the year. So one of the things that we do, we being the Sustainable Business Council, is we run the Green Masters program, which is a recognition and assessment program for businesses interested in sustainability in the state of Wisconsin. It's only in the state. And the top 20% of companies each year are recognized at the conference for their accomplishments. So we will do that after lunch. Immediately after lunch, we'll go into breakout sessions again, and again, we'll talk about your options for that. We'll come back to this room for the final plenary, which will be Roy Tilley. Roy is the former CEO, president and CEO of Wisconsin, WPPI. So we'll be hearing about the utility industry and what's going on. The change that you all received notice of maybe a week ago in moving from the Golf Center to the Memorial Union to Reeve here was brought about because we wanted to keep everybody in the same building. Just in case the weather was bad. It's going to be beautiful today, but it prevents people getting lost walking across campus. So we thought, okay, let's bring everybody here, and all of the breakout sessions are in this building, and we'll point you in the right direction. Generally, it's that way for the breakout sessions. The other fairly significant change from my perspective, although not necessarily from yours, is that we've always taped the conference in the past. So not only the plenary speakers, but the breakout sessions. Because what we had heard from people was, geez, you have so many great options. I'm going to choose one, and I really would like to be someplace else at the same time. We said, all right, they're going to be taped. You'll be able to go and view the other sessions at some point in the future. Well, we looked at the web analytics, and nobody really looked at the breakout sessions. So we're not going to be taping the breakout sessions. So it makes that decision about which breakout session you're going to go to even more important, because you're not going to have an opportunity to view the ones that you're not going to see. We will be taking the plenaries, and those will be put up on the website. So if you want to see Tom speak again, or Roy speak again, or you have other people in your organization, or other people that you think would benefit from that, those sessions will be taken. Finally, just sort of an advertisement. So the Sustainable Business Council is 8 years old, so this is the 8th conference, so we just graduated, we just became 8. We are guided by a board of advisors of 12 advisors, and those 12 advisors exist in 3 cohorts of 4. Every year, 4 advisors have a term that ends, and we bring 4 new advisors onto the board. So if you're interested in becoming an advisor to the Wisconsin Sustainable Business Council, we meet 3 times a year. There's maybe a little bit of extra email traffic in between those meetings. I understand that everybody's really busy, and so I try not to ask much of the advisors. But if you would be interested, send me an email, talk to me here at the conference, in some way get a hold of me. I want to thank UW Oshkosh for being just a great partner. We've worked with lots of different organizations in the past. Last year we were at the Harley-Davidson Museum. We worked really closely with Harley, and before that Land's End and American Family and a number of other organizations. UW Oshkosh has just been a delight to work with, and if putting on a conference was always as easy as it has been this year because of the support of UW Oshkosh folks, it would just make our lives so much easier. I do want to encourage everybody to take advantage of the tours that are going to be offered. So I mentioned the breakout sessions. We'll have a breakout session before lunch and after lunch. During each of those breakout sessions, there will be a tour offered. The morning tour will go over to the digester. So one of the shining accomplishments for UW Oshkosh is the dry digester that they have. We'll be touring the digester and hearing more about it. The afternoon breakout, you'll be touring some of their LEED Gold certified buildings, Sage Hall, which is their new academic building. And I've been in there and it's amazing. So if you're going to be doing any building or retrofitting, taking that tour might be really advantageous. I want to thank all the speakers. One of the secrets to having a well-attended conference is to invite a lot of speakers, and so we invite a lot of speakers so that there's people sitting out there. No, I'm just kidding about that. We're really indebted to the speakers. We're unique as a conference in that we don't put people on stage that have anything to sell, that have any sort of general information that they want to provide. So everybody you're going to see today is a practitioner. They're going to be talking about how they did their sustainability report, how they did their measurement, the metrics session, who they worked with on various projects. So the purpose every year of bringing everybody together is to be able to send you home with information, with ideas, with strategies that you could implement either tomorrow or next month or next year. But generating ideas from the people that are speaking that are actionable ideas. Of course, as with any conference, we're terribly indebted to the sponsors that we have. The sponsors primarily make the attendance of the students possible, also the buses and some of the other stuff that we do to make this conference unique. So I want to specifically thank American Family Insurance, Cool Choices, Diddy & Milling, Evolution Marketing, Focus on Energy, and CDI, which implements the Focus on Energy program, Inpro Corporation, Kohl's Department Stores, Lakefront Brewery, Land's End, MG&E, Mercury Marine, Outpost Natural Foods, SC Johnson, and WMEP. That's like a who's who of businesses in the state. So that's how I think important some of those key businesses view this topic of sustainability. We also have partners that contributed stuff to us for the speaker, some of the things in your speaker bag, other things that were involved during the day. So those the partners include collectible coffee, the Compass Group, which I mentioned earlier, which is doing the carbon footprint for the conference, Jack and Ella Paper, which did the thank you notes that we'll be giving to the speakers, the Nelson Institute for Environmental Studies at UW-Madison, which is where I'm affiliated with, Renew Wisconsin, Sustain Bain, USGBC Wisconsin, Willie Street Co-op, Wisconsin Institute of Sustainable Technologies, Vines and Rushes, which is a winery that I didn't even know existed. That's over in Ripon that provided the wine that we'll be giving to our speakers. And finally, a company in Milwaukee called Visual Impressions that did the embroidery on the attire that you're going to find the conference coordinators and the volunteers